right, good morning. I hereby call to order the, February 12th, 2016, public hearing of the City of Prescott Preservation Commission. Members present at this meeting are, starting at my right, David DJ Butke. We also have Gary Edelbrock, Russ Buchanan, and Christy Hastings. On my left is Robert Burford, and I am Trinity Shelton, Chairwoman. Additional members or planning and zoning staff members present are Kat Moody, the Historic Preservation Specialist, and let's see, is that it at this moment?
Councilman Steve Shishka.
Okay. Did you say? And we have someone else coming in. Darla Eastman is also here. This is an open public hearing and is being videotaped and tape recorded by the city. The proceedings are being televised by representatives of the public media, local cable and or radio stations, and may also be rebroadcast. The number of commission members present is 6. It will require 4 votes for a majority. All parties wishing to be heard on an issue are required to raise their hands and be recognized by the chairman prior to speaking. Speakers will be expected to state their name and address for the record so that we may know who is speaking and be able to contact them at a later date if necessary. Please turn off any cell phones or electronic devices, and if you haven't already done so, please sign the attendance roster before leaving the meeting. Thank you. First item on the agenda today is approval of the minutes of the November 13th, 2015 meeting. Has everyone had a moment to review the notes? Anybody object to anything in there, or everybody approve?
Motion to approve the minutes of our November the 13th meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Edelbrock. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of November 13th, 2015 meeting, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Okay. Motion passes 6-0. The next item on the agenda is HP 16-001, 213 South Mount Vernon Avenue, Historic Preservation District number 13. The request is for approval for replacement of windows, and this will be presented by Kat Moody. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As indicated, this is a request for 213 South Mount Vernon. So this is an aerial view of the house. This request involves the main house here in the front of the property. And we'll take a look at the existing conditions. So this is the front of the house. This is a bungalow listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The windows are largely original. What you see there, when you might look at that and think, well, those don't look like original windows. Those are storm windows. Oh. So that's why you see the thin cross rails here. And so they have storm windows installed on this house currently. This is the front view. And then if moving around the house, this is the north side of the house. And then this is the back or east side of the house. And this is the south side of the house. And the windows being proposed to be replaced are all of these windows. And let me get this oriented so that you can read that. So here we have the windows, and I've indicated on the windows they are numbered and they relate to the table that was provided in your packet. But in order to make it clear here at the meeting, I've gone and put what the type of window is that's being replaced in the same location. So DH are double hungs, picture window is PIC. And so the predominant window in place and going back into that same location are double hungs. Most of the windows around the entire house are double hungs. There is an awning window here, and there is picture windows over here on this side, and then on the front of the house as well, and then a couple of casements here in the living room. And so let's take a look at the proposed windows. The windows are an insert Anderson 400 series. So this is an all-wood window. And they're proposing using an aluminum cladding on the exterior. So this is an example of a double hung. The aluminum cladding is going to be, and it's a little hard to see because the colors don't quite project all that well. This is a forest green, so this is a very dark green, pre-coated, pre-finished, powder-coated aluminum cladding that will be on the exterior of the window. And then the interior finish they're proposing is white, and then they're showing us the hardware that they've selected here to be used with the window. So the three styles that are going back in, other than picture window, are the double hung, the casement, and the awning window. And those are in-kind replacements to what's already existing there. And then, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, on this, but you were looking at this as a grill style versus the straight 4 quadrants.
You mean that, whatever that is?
Yeah, the mullion, the mutton, or the grill.
It'll just be clear glass.
Okay.
No grills.
No grills,
anywhere.
Okay. Okay, so that.
Existing, like, see, the lower portion.
And can I have
Sorry,
you
yeah.
come up to the mic?
If you'll approach the mic and state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Pull it down here to my height. Huh? Mark Temple, 213 South Mount Vernon.
And
Okay, if you look at that window, the upper has the grills in it. The existing house doesn't have grills. And we've owned the house since 1961. Those storm windows my dad put on there probably 35 years ago. But the glass will look like that lower portion of that double hung. There's no
grills.
divided light anywhere in it.
Thank you.
Mark, I have a question.
Yes.
When you get done with your window project, will the storm windows come off?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
the storm windows were predominantly placed on for energy efficiency.
Yeah, my dad, he bought them from Better Built. I don't even know if Better Built's still out there or not, but
It's what was available back in those days.
yes, yes.
Is the current trim color of the window a green?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be similar to what's already up there. Okay, thank you.
That answers my question.
Okay.
I was just curious because the picture I thought indicated
They look
a
white.
sash. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But this is green in between the
yeah, see, you can see the green.
on the
The white is the aluminum
storm window.
storm window.
Thank you.
Well, I visited your home out there, Mark, and it'll be a vast improvement.
Yeah, and you
And I
know,
don't mean to be-
Kat told me. I guess I didn't apply for this permit. The contractor, we bought these windows from Home Depot, and whoever they hire, I guess, applied for this permit, and they applied for a vinyl window, and that's not what we want.
Good.
It's a very nice home, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think that's really gonna be a nice addition to it, both inside and outside.
And you said most of the windows currently are painted shut, so they're really non-operational at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Oh, this will be wonderful.
And I was wondering if you guys were going to ask me the brand. I was going to say, man, I don't have a clue. My guess is they went in when they built that house. You know, it's the old kind of fluted glass. I mean, you know, where it's a little distorted.
And you said the awning window that's currently there actually swings inside.
The awning window swings in.
A little clumsy.
So if you're in the bathroom and it's held by a chain, and actually, I don't know, not some time ago, that chain broke and that window, I was glad I wasn't standing by it. But, the Anderson window's the one that'll go to the outside that you crank out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to commend you on this, the whole concept of putting in a high-performance window in replacement and having a historic value of similar imagery, right? And of course, with these high-performance windows, you can remove those storm windows, so that'll.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to enjoy that space even that much more.
Yeah, we'll take those out and
Because Anderson really does put together a nice product.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions or comments? No? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve HP 16-001.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
You? Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting and approving as is HP 16-001, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, the next item on the agenda for today is the goals for the commission for 2016. And is this going to be presented by you as well, Kat?
Yes.
You going to go over this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let me zoom in so we can actually read this on screen. Okay, this is a draft goals that I've drafted up based on our previous year's goals. So many of these things will look familiar to you all. So I wanted to, these were included in your packet. I wanted to get your comments regarding this. And we can make additions, modifications. These can be approved today as is, or we can modify them here on the spot and then approve the goals, or we can work on it and then approve them next month. So that's up to you. So number one goal is continue to promote Prescott's preservation programs. Number two is participate and support the 2016 Historic Preservation Month, which is May. And this year I've included the activities of the Elizabeth Ruffner Award, which is optional. That's an award that goes to a professional individual or a citizen who's made a significant contribution to Prescott preservation efforts throughout the year. We do not always present this award. It's something that's presented, when there's a need, or sometimes when Elizabeth nominates somebody and lets me know if she thinks they should receive the award. So that's something that's optional. And then in this case, this year we're planning a Prescott Historic Home Tour, and that's being proposed in West Prescott Historic District, which is Park Avenue, Glenwood, Glendale, and Country Club Drive. And so that's slated for Saturday, May 21st. So when we do the Historic Home Tour in May for Preservation Month, we don't do the Preservation and Stewardship Awards, which sometimes we have done in the past, presenting preservation awards or stewardship awards to homeowners who are doing a particularly good job of either renovating or taking care of their historic properties. So in lieu of those awards, we work on the Historic Home Tour. So that's what's on for this year's Historic Preservation Month. Number three is attend and represent Prescott at the statewide Historic Preservation Conference. That's held in Phoenix this year in June. Just a note that I believe Prescott will be hosting next year's conference after this, which will be good to have it back here. We normally operate that out of the Hacienda Inn. In the last couple of years, we've sent myself as a representative and then the chairman of the committee, just to keep expenses low for that activity. But that is an important conference where all other preservation commissions and officers come together, as well as the tribes, state parks, all come together to be able to share and then network for preservation efforts throughout the state. And then 4, continue the follow-up program on a 6-month cycle to monitor and report on the results of projects which have been reviewed by the commission. And we're probably about ready to have somebody go out and photograph what's been completed since the last review. Follow up the analysis of the outreach program to owner-occupied residential, National Register properties not receiving the state of Arizona tax credit. So we sent out a letter about 7-8 months ago, and what's involved in this is going back and looking at who has signed up for the credit since the time that that mailing was sent out, and see if we've actually got a fair amount of sign up, for that program. A lot of people who have a National Register listed home don't realize that they qualify for the state property tax credit, and that's administered through the state and through Yavapai County. The city's not necessarily involved. I'm just making people aware that they do qualify for it. And I did have a couple of people call me and let me know they were appreciative for getting the letter and that they applied, but I'll go back and do an analysis and give you all a report on what the results of that effort were. And continue with the Historic Preservation Master Plan update, which is something that's really just begun. Taking the plan that was adopted in 1998 and updating it for current zoning and more current conditions. And that's probably a multi-year project, and then that'll eventually end up going to council for approval once it's completed. So with that, do any of you have comments or suggestions?
Thanks, Kat. I had a couple questions. Actually, a comment as well. As far as you mentioned that in lieu of these nominations that we put in the past, we're having this tour. Mm-hmm. I've always understood that we've done both. Is it just not enough activity?
So the tour in 2014, we didn't have preservation or stewardship awards in 2014 when we ran the tour.
Okay.
Because I can't necessarily, I don't have the resources to be able to do both of those things at one time, because the historic home tour is such a planning,
it is.
Investment. So we did the awards. We did the awards in 2013 and 2015, but not 2014 when the tour took place.
Okay, I was just curious if that one ran concurrently.
But if you have ideas, or if you would like to consider somebody for the Elizabeth Ruffner Award, please let me know.
Okay. And then the other, it was more of a comment. It was the idea that on item number 4, I've done a photo documentation of the previous year's work in the past, and really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to be able to do that again if I could.
That would be great.
So we'll get together and.
Yep. I will get you a list of everything we haven't seen completed photographs for. Right. And then you can go out and photograph. You do a thorough job, DJ, so that would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. In the past, we've also, because of the number of applications, doubled up on those efforts. But what's your feeling on that as far as?
I think you can probably handle it, because we've been pretty good keeping up on a mostly 6-month cycle at this point. And because we haven't reviewed that many items between the last review cycle and this, I think you probably can handle the documentation.
Well, gee, thanks.
Yeah. Totally capable.
You're appointed.
Totally capable. All right. Thank you, Kat, very much. Is that
we will need a motion to approve the goals if you are happy with the way they are.
Everybody happy with them? Yes. Do we have a motion to approve the 2016 Prescott Preservation Commission goals?
Motion to approve the recommendations for the commission for the next 6 months.
Fantastic. How about for 2016?
For 2016.
Okay. I'll take that as a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second and a third over here. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much, Kat and everyone. So the next item on the agenda is update of current events or other items of note.
So I have this. This is a presentation that is going to be at the Milagro Arts Center, which we have reviewed the renovations for. That's the old church building on Marina Street that's being converted, that is now converted to an arts center. So this is on Wednesday, February 16th from 4 to 5 p.m. This is a presentation by Michelle Kayon, and she's an architect. And she was one of the people involved with the restoration of the United States Capitol Dome. And so this is co-sponsored by the American Institute of Architects, Grand Canyon section. And it's highly recommended for somebody interested in historic architecture and restoration work. So I wanted to make you aware of this event. And I will go ahead and post this as well on the Prescott Preservation Facebook page so that we do outreach to the other people who are friends of that page. So you'll see it there if you're a friend of that page.
Fantastic.
Less than a week away.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, 1 week away.
We may have to do that. So it's Wednesday, February 17th from 4 to 5 p.m.?
Yes, that's correct.
Wonderful. And is that's the one that's next to like the Hacienda, a few doors down from the
Yes,
Hacienda?
exactly.
Okay.
On the same side of the street as the Hacienda, a couple doors down.
This is the old Mormon temple.
Great. Okay. Thank
Yeah, and if you haven't been into the space, since it's been renovated,
Really awesome.
yeah, it's beautiful.
you. Cool.
Great repurposing from Bill Otwell through his various multiple renovations of the interior of that building. So
Nice. Great. Thank you.
Nice.
Any other items for review?
I don't have anything else.
I had a question about the home tour.
Yes.
Because last I heard, you weren't having any luck.
Well, we received initially 13 people who were willing to open or potentially willing to open their homes. Through the process where we've gotten now, I think we're down to 10. We view it as a minimum of 8 to be able to hold the tour. We're still moving forward with planning. We have a 6-person planning committee that's working with the local residents in the area. We will be opening Lincoln School as well. So we're working with the principal over at Lincoln School, and that will be where the ticket booth is located. And we are doing advanced ticket sales this year. So all that information is going to be available, same thing again on the Prescott Preservation Facebook page, as well as the preservation section of the city website. And so there's information on the tour. And so at this point, we are moving forward, and the planning committee is working to put together a tour for May 21st, 2016. Yep.
Great.
And I have one more thing, an old dead horse to kick again. The fence at Goodwin and Mount Vernon, that white picket fence.
Yes.
You said traffic was looking into it.
They are. Engineering has a design, so they're working with the property owner to figure out who's going to pay for what and how it's going to be, the responsibility is going to be divided up for that. But they do have a design, and they are working with the property owner. They assure me it's not being forgotten.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It is still a difficult corner.
It is a difficult corner, agreed.
I've been avoiding it completely.
Yeah, me too.
Well, unless you're turning right onto Carlton from Mount Vernon, then it's not a difficult corner. But
No,
if you're
right.
turning left off of Carlton onto Mount Vernon,
That's
very
Then
dangerous.
yeah, don't want to get T-boned. No. Anybody else have anything? Okay. I wanted to let you all know that I believe next month will be my last month on the board. I chose not to reapply this year because we are potentially selling our house in City Prescott. Don't know if we're going to be buying another one in the city limits, so we're in kind of limbo right now. So, but I just wanted to say thank you to all of you because you've all made me feel so welcome and like I belong here, and it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, excuse me, getting choked up. I hopefully will be here next month for the meeting, but if not, then I would say, thank you for everything. But hopefully I will see you all next month. So.
Yeah, I think you will be running the meeting next month, and that'll be the transition to the new commission that will come in April.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, that's all I had to say. And if that's all we've got, then we can adjourn.
Yep.
Everybody ready? Okay. All right, so I hereby adjourn the meeting of February 12th, 2016, Prescott Preservation Commission. Thank you.